your name and what do you do?
I am Jenna West. I am a model and a photographer.
Hell yeah. You keep your phone right there. If you get that call, I want you to be able to get it. Turn that ringer on. You're on everything with the phone ringer. This is casual, Jenna West.
Cool.
This is super casual. We're having some laughs.
Yes.
Hopefully we're not embarrassed by these pictures later.
No.
My favorite thing about being a model would be to get to know all the different people that I'm meeting and being able to travel, and it's just fun.
What is like the suckiest part about being a model that people might not suspect? Seems pretty glamorous to me.
I think just like it being up in the air and like not knowing when your next job is. It's kind of like, it's not super consistent. So I guess that could, that's a problem.
100%. Life of the artist, right?
Yeah.
Jenna is a professional model. We've wanted to shoot together for some time, and the day has finally arrived. I have selected this site as the location because it's sort of central, right in the middle of Los Angeles. It's in Griffith Park, which is one of the world's largest urban parks. And this is the site of the old zoo. So this is basically an animal cage. It used to hold, I don't know, lions and tigers and bears or something like that, but now they are abandoned and they're in the back of this little park. I like to use this spot because for me, I like the textured background, and there's a big opening where the light comes in, and it just gives me a nice, soft, natural light studio setting.
Love this.
It's my good side.
Okay, yeah, great. They both look good to me, but whatever you say. Someone wants to be a model. What advice would you give them if they're aspiring to be a model?
I would say just, be healthy and be mindful and stay true to yourself, because a lot of times people in this industry, they do or act as if like what they think other people would want, and I just think being yourself and being healthy is the best way to be.
Perfect. What advice would you give to, you're a photographer too, someone wants to be a photographer and shoot models, what should they do or what should they not do?
Get a camera first. Test on friends and family members, and also learning different fundamental things that are pretty important, lighting and all that. And also just being open-minded and try to develop a style that resonates with you.
That's awesome advice.
Jenna's awesome. She's a pro. She works all the time. She's done campaigns for really big brands. She's primarily a beauty model. So they slap a lot of makeup on her and they do close-ups, and she's got amazing eyes. She's got amazing bone structure. She's very, very interesting. If you are a portrait photographer, she is everything you would want in a model. She also happens to be a photographer. Every time I photograph another photographer, imposter syndrome creeps in. And I don't have formal training. I really don't even do photography as my primary means of making a living. Really, it's a hobby. It's my creative outlet. So that imposter syndrome always creeps in, and her also being a professional model, that little whisper is like, oh, do you really know what you're doing, Staley? Are you really gonna pull this off? She's a pro and she's a photographer. But you know what? That's always gonna be there. It doesn't matter who you are, what you've done, where you're at. Just ignore it, take a deep breath, and move on. Instead, I just focus on the light. I focus on making a connection with Jenna, try and have some laughs, and try and have a good time. Okay, let's talk tech stuff. I'm shooting with my M6 and a 50mm Summicron f2.0 lens. The film I'm using is TMax 400. This M6 is my favorite camera, meaning this physical, actual camera is my favorite camera of all time because, well, there's a story behind that and there's a video about it, and maybe you can check it out sometime. But I love this camera, although admittedly, I don't think the M-style cameras are the best portrait cameras around. I think they're better for documentary type work, reporters, that kind of stuff. I think for the kind of portraits that I like to take, close shots with a real shallow depth of field, very close to the subject, M cameras are not the best cameras for those kind of photos, especially when you're shooting film. You have a fast lens, you have a very shallow depth of field. It's very hard to nail focus with a rangefinder. Now, I've gotten pretty good at it. Sometimes I miss. This isn't, I'm not saying all this to make an excuse. It just is what it is, and I put some of the misses in here because the cool thing is the quality of the lens, the grain in the film. You can get away with this shooting analog in ways that you maybe don't get away with it as much with a digital camera with a high megapixel count. I think some of the shots where the focus is not tack sharp in the eyes are still worthy. I know when I use my M6 that I'm not gonna nail every single shot, especially when I'm trying to get really close to the model, but I love using it. And when I do nail it, it's 10 times more satisfying than any other camera experience that I can think of.
Art is important because, well, it's everywhere, and art is so influenced on the time that we live in and also gives people in a way to escape reality and just being open-minded. I say that, you know, you have one life and it's important to live it and to not have any regrets later on down the road. And, you know, I've been through a lot in my life, and it's very liberating to be able to just go for what I want and not have anything hold me back.
For me, these kind of shoots are not about making a portfolio image. I'm not about trying to make cool stuff to get me other jobs or anything like that. This is what I do to be creative as a hobby. This is fun for me. I don't want to do it if it's not fun. Shoots like this are not about making portfolio images. They're not about building out my portfolio. They're not about showing off. This is about meeting someone who's also a cool artist. This is about having an experience, making a connection, and maybe making some work that I'm proud of. But the work is secondary. Really, it's an exercise, it's for the experience, and it's my creative outlet. I need this. I tend to get very, very unhappy if I'm not doing something creative every day. So I work for long periods of time in the field doing my TV work, and then I have long periods of time where I'm not really working. And I like to keep myself busy by doing photo shoots, meeting new people, and having little adventures like this. I think Jenna is awesome. I'm super happy with the work that we did. I hope we get to do it again.
I think it was great. I love the spontaneous nature of it and just going for it. And it's just fun. I've never been here, and it's really cool. I'm like in a cave right now, so it's cool.
Awesome.